indicators of when a fiat currency is going to decline into collapse is when those who are holding its debt sell the debt, and the government, central bank, has to print money to buy that debt in large size while that's going down. Those are the most important indicators. So that you can see it, again, I want to repeat, selling the debt so that there's a big supply-demand imbalance, and the central bank having to come in there and buy the debt that no one else will buy in large quantity, so that then there's a currency devaluation. You have those three things aligned, the currency devaluation going down at the same time as those other two things are happening. And that's been a classic. It's like a bank run. They come to the bank, there's not enough money in the bank, and so they have to make up the difference by the printing of money.
So it is time to get out of the dollar. And in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys some critical detail about what the Federal Reserve just did and is currently doing right now to nuke the dollar, and why this is going to create one of the largest bull runs in cryptocurrency history. We're talking about XRP Ledger, some breaking news, and what's happening on the charts. Also, the macro market cycle on how things are going to be playing out over the next few months and the next few years. So comment 777 if you're feeling blessed. Comment 777 if you're feeling bullish. Let's run it. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So number one, debt holders are selling. Number two, central banks print money to buy back the debt. Number three, that's what leads to currency devaluation. And then as they print more money, people search for solutions to preserve their income. And so the cryptocurrency market is more so there to help you preserve your money rather than to make money. Now, obviously, when everyone piles in, that's where you make money because the liquidity grows. But just like the stock market was there to outpace inflation. And so when you look at the new wave of where this money is moving, well, let's look at the historical print orders on how much money they're putting into existence. So 2023 was not that good of a year, but they still printed a lot of money in billions of pieces. And 2024 is going to be even more than 2023. So 2023 was a bullish year for crypto. Towards the end of 2024 is going to be even more powerful. We just passed $34 trillion. This is crazy. When I was in high school, which not too long ago, still fairly young, I got a few gray hairs and, some wrinkles under my eyes, but it was $7 trillion when I was in high school, guys. Now it's $34 trillion. What's it going to be like over the next 20 years, 30 years? We're going to be at 50 trillion by 2033. That's their plan. They've told us this several times. And so what's going to happen to the dollar? The dollar is going to get nuked. It's being nuked right now. Global debt to GDP resumes its upward trend in the trillions. It's over $300 trillion in terms of global debt. So when you look at this, 34 trillion, that's just United States. When we talk about other countries, people in the U.S. are in their own little bubble right now, but other countries, guys, stack onto this to be over $300 trillion. And so this chart right here talks about periods when to make money. There's A, B, and C. So A is years in which panics have occurred and will occur again. B is year of good times, high prices, and the time to sell, stocks and values of all kinds like crypto. And period of C is year of hard times, low prices, and a good time to buy stocks, crypto, corner lots, goods, etc., real estate, land, precious metals, and hold till the boom reaches the year of good times, which is B. Then you unload and you dump your bags on everyone, okay? Sure thing. Save this card. Watch it closely. So where are we right now? Well, year of hard times, it says 1996, 2005, 2012, 2023. 2026 is year of good times, high prices, the time to sell. Well, based on Bitcoin's 4-year market cycle, the tail end of 2025 going into 2026 is supposed to be the top. So this could play out. And then 2032 is year of hard times. 2035 is year which panics have occurred. So the next panic potentially coming by 2035. Is that when World War III will really go crazy? And then 2053 is after that. So we'll see if this plays out. I mean, this is pretty interesting how 2026 is lining up to be the top. 2023 wasn't necessarily like that big of a panic, but hey, maybe it was the prelude to a panic of what's happening around this time, right? Because 2022 was the bear market, and so 2023 is when we reversed. So it could be considered, the absolute bottom for the market, because then we started pivoting around from that point, heading into the year of good times. Now, let's talk about what's happening with XRP and how this affects the crypto market, because with all of this craziness happening with the dollar, people are flighting out of the dollar and they're moving money into asset classes like real estate, right? That's why real estate properties have gone crazy over the past few years. That's why gold passed its all-time high and is getting ready to go absolutely parabolic the next few years. That's why crypto is surging. But XRP is only up 2x. Only up 2x. The dollar down, what's the dollar down? 95, 99% over the past 20, 30 years. XRP, is only up 2x this year. So I'm sorry, guys, you've only made double your money. I apologize if that's the case for you. If you put in $100,000, you only made profit of $100,000 if you sold your XRP when it was at 60 cents. So I apologize for helping you guys make money. As always, it's not financial advice. Don't listen to a word that I say. Consult your financial advisor that tells you to put money in a 401k, put money in a Roth IRA, while all these institutions like BlackRock, Fidelity, they're now having their salespeople sell people on the Bitcoin ETF and move money, around over into crypto. So where's that money going to pivot? And the real question here is not, will Bitcoin do well over the next decade? Because it will. The real question is, which crypto assets are going to outperform Bitcoin to see bigger gains? Because the XRP ledger is now closer than ever to Ethereum compatibility. So will it be Ethereum? Will it be XRP? Will it be Solana? Well, Ethereum Virtual Machine, EVM, it's compatible sidechain. This project will allow for Ethereum developers to access and build on the XRP ledger. So it's going to add further use case. And Polysign is the Fort Knox of crypto. So in my video yesterday, I talked about Rosie Rios was previously in charge of Fort Knox. She coincidentally joined Ripple's board of directors in the same day Cowen's partnership is announced. Now, Polysign is getting funded through Cowen by a firm owned by BlackRock, Fidelity, Vanguard, and many others. So these same institutions that are launching these ETFs and have been questioned about an XRP ETF, are remaining hush-hush about this. So could this be because they're going to back XRP to gold? Well, in the video yesterday, for those of you that missed that, Fort Knox, publicly acknowledging the possession of $186 billion worth of gold, is widely speculated that Fort Knox houses a significant portion of the entire U.S. gold reserves. And so when you look at XRP, this Genesis block, the XRP ledger, when it was live, there were some missing transactions that were deleted from the transaction history. And that was in December 2012. The first week's worth of data was completely gone. It disappeared and non-existent. And there are a total of 136 Genesis wallets. Having a closer look at the largest ones, there's an outstanding wallet that holds 6 billion XRP. So 6 billion XRP is a large chunk of the supply, guys. That's 6% of the entire supply of the 100 billion XRP. And so tracking down these transactions, it's clear that the XRP held there was sent directly from Ripple. And so when we look at the note on this transaction, it says x.fortknox.b. So if Rosie Rios was in charge of Fort Knox and she's on the board of Ripple and she's advocating about the future of blockchain technology and supporting Ripple, well, could that mean that she's supporting XRP and they're planning something there? I don't know. Probably not. Probably has nothing to do with gold. Probably has nothing to do with anything. And XRP is probably a scam, as all the naysayers say, because they know what they're talking about, right? The people in the comments, they're probably billionaires, and they're just trying to protect everyone from getting wealthy, right? So when you look at XRP, the US dollar, sitting at 53 cents, I can't deny it's been a lackluster performance compared to Bitcoin, right? Say going from 73 cents in the beginning of November to 53 cents, pissing a lot of people off. XRP is one of my largest holdings, so it's kind of pissing me off a little bit, but I'm patient, and I'm going to be sharing why in this video, because even if XRP goes down further, we can see on the RSI, we're sitting at 38 in this falling wedge right here. I would expect a reversal to take place for XRP. So if we see a sell-off to the downside and this rally for Bitcoin on the day is a little fake-out rally, like I talked about in yesterday's video, if we continue to the downside for Bitcoin, well, I would expect XRP to continue to the downside as well too. But eventually, a reversal will take place on the relative strength index, and we will see XRP bounce to the upside. So if we come down to 45 cents, 46 cents, I'm going to be scooping up more XRP here. That doesn't mean you should. you should hold all your money in cash because cash is going to be here forever, right? You're going to make all of your money by the Federal Reserve nuking your dollar. So don't hold any crypto. But for me, I'm probably going to hold some crypto because, I believe in the future of this industry. And the reason why is because it's estimated that asset tokenization is to reach $16 trillion by 2030. You can see we're at 0.6 by 2024, 1.5 trillion by 2025, 3.1, 2026, 5.2. So 2030 is going to be the real big year for crypto. So you guys are still early, and on Ripple.com, the report for 2023, in essence, anything can be tokenized, including but not limited to CBDCs, stablecoins, real world assets, whether they're liquid or illiquid, like carbon credits, stocks, real estate and gold, art and collectibles, intellectual property, and access rights, tickets, and more. So if gold could be tokenized, could they be tokenizing that through the XRP ledger and using XRP for liquidity for that? How is that going to work? You guys let me know, because there's major benefits of this. They're stating like fast, efficient transactions, 24/7, 365, transparent transaction data, decentralized security, streamlined capital flows, and improved settlement times, new borrowing lending markets via decentralized finance, increased customer engagement, brand loyalty, financial inclusion through fractionalized ownership. Like you can have multiple people owning a property, tokenized on the blockchain, improved liquidity, and the ability to create multi-tier pricing structures, on-chain compliance processes linked to a digital wallet and or digital identity. And so in business opportunity by 2030 for tokenized assets, $16 trillion. And on this official report in 2023, they show how much of that is going to come from each sector, like digital banking and fintech, which is what Ripple is serving, 37%, technology is 31%, retail banking, 28%, money transmitter, investment banking, insurance, manufacturing, oil and gas, telecommunications. And so with all the news we brought you over the past year, it's just crazy, man. It's crazy that's lining up. I was in Dubai a little while ago, and they were having the Ripple Swell event over there. And the XRP token was approved by the Dubai Financial Services Authority, allowing firms in Dubai International Financial Center to incorporate XRP into their virtual asset services. So what is Dubai known for, guys? I mean, what is the Middle East known for over in that area? Oil and gas, to bridge the oil money.
I actually believe this technology is going to be very important. Look at it. We have been part of a huge revolution in investing through ETFs. We believe that ETFs will be changing the whole way we invest. Many people still use it as a means, people are investing it for indexing. No, the majority of people who are putting money in in ETFs are active investors that are buying exposure. The entire bond market is being transformed as we talk right now. I believe the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. And if we can have that distributed ledger that we know every beneficial owner, every beneficial seller, we all have our code of who's buying, who's selling, instantaneous settlement.
We could have that distributed ledger, instantaneous settlement. I wonder what that would be. I wonder what that would be. I don't know. I can't think of anything. Can you guys think of anything in the blockchain space that might have that?
I'm hoping that we're going to see, as real-world asset tokenization projects grow, I think the XRP ledger is going to be a really good platform for them to launch on, particularly because of the low fees and because of the integration with the DEX, with the proximity to sort of the movement of funds. The ability, if someone's going to buy, what do you want to do with a real-world tokenized asset? You want to buy it, you want to sell it, you want to hold it, you want to transfer it. And if you want to buy it and sell it, you want to be able to do that with whatever asset is convenient for you. You don't want to tie, if you tokenize some sort of debt, like you don't want to tie it to US dollars, because then that limits access to it to people who have sort of proximity to US dollars. One of the things the XRP ledger is good for is giving you sort of proximity to many different assets, and that exchange is seamlessly built in. So I think that's one of the many reasons why the XRP ledger is going to be a good place to launch tokenized real-world assets. I think we'll see that in the next year and a half.
Okay, so over the next year and a half, which is very interesting, the end of the bull run, 2025. Now, if I go to the Bank for International Settlements.org and I look at this official document that came out titled Harmonized ISO 222 Data Requirements for Enhancing Cross-Border Payments. This came out October of 2023. It was a report to the G20 countries, and I type in the word November, well, let's see what it says here, because November, there's going to be a transition period following a 2-year transition period that starts with the end of the coexistence period between the SWIFT MT and the ISO 20022 messaging standard. It's currently scheduled for November of 2025 and runs until the end of 2027, allowing market participants to align their payment messaging practices with the CPMI harmonization requirements. Finally, the identified proposals should be realistic and achievable within the time frame of the G20 target. Now, very interesting how if the end of the bull run is at the end of 2025, November, and the bear market starts, and then 2026 is a bear market, well, if it ends in 2027, are they priming this to be at the exact bottom of the next bear market to get ready for 2030 for over $16 trillion to be ready by 2030 for the end of that bull run? You guys let me know your thoughts there. But if we scroll down here, they're saying the growing adoption of ISO 20022 as a common messaging standard for payment systems around the world is a crucial opportunity to promote greater interoperability cross-border. Aren't those the words that Brad Garlinghouse just continues to use over and over again?
Well, I think anytime you have a new technology, it's nascent, and although crypto's kind of been around for 10 or almost 12 years, let's say, it's still new. And I think you have a lot of large organizations, even JP Morgan, despite Jamie Dimon's comments about how he thinks about crypto, they're investing heavily in blockchain technologies. Now, that being said, I think in order for blockchain to thrive and for the largest population to benefit from these technologies, you can't have insular closed networks. Like the whole point, it's kind of like the internet. The internet opened up networks. You had AOL and CompuServe and Prodigy. Along comes the internet to create interoperability. Crypto does that and can do that across many banks and provide dramatic improvements to how we think about money movement and really any transaction.
And if you look at this, Singapore now has 13 licensed crypto providers. Ripple themselves are fully licensed to operate with XRP. FOMOPay is also using Ripple payments in XRP, which also connects out to Brazil. And so Revolt, Sparrow, CoinHacko, Paxos, Metacom, Ripple are all going to be leveraging on-demand liquidity for treasury management, allowing us to achieve affordable and instant settlements in euro and the US dollar globally. So when we look at the XRP price chart, what's holding it back still if all of this is taking place? Well, it's waiting for the lawsuit to be over and also the macro market cycle, because the markets are just doing what they've always done every single cycle. So you could arguably ignore all of the fundamental and just pay attention to the charts, which I'm going to be sharing with you towards the end of this video on what's about to happen next. But it is good to have some grasp on the fundamental because it shows you what's going on for the narrative and how it's lining up to send, the crypto market to the absolute top of the moon, the beaches of the moon. So the judge for the lawsuit versus Ripple versus the SEC granted Ripple a motion to file a surreply letter. So what this basically means is they're allowing, this to be extended as they respond back and forth to correct each other on their letters they're sending. So everything will be polished up by May. And if they just keep extending, hey, we could see a surge in XRP sooner. That would be awesome. I'm not holding my breath. But what I do see right here, Crypto Insight posted this saying that there's a clear divergence on the hourly for XRP to Bitcoin's price chart. This means in the short term, we are looking for XRP to outperform Bitcoin. Now, what is a bullish divergence? You can see bearish versus bullish. Well, bullish, we see lower lows on the price chart, whereas we see higher lows on the indicator of choice. So this is a regular divergence. Now, a hidden divergence would be higher lows on the price chart and lower lows on the indicator of choice. So if we're looking at the RSI, this is actually a hidden bearish divergence where we can see lower highs on the price chart and higher highs on the relative strength index. And so we will see if XRP starts outperforming Bitcoin, because currently Bitcoin's up over the past 24 hours. It says 4.91%. It cracked over 42K. XRP's only up 3.4%. Solana's up 6%. BNB up 3%. Cardano 4%. Dogecoin only 2%. Polkadot 3.5%. Chainlink 2.8%. So the markets are doing well. Internet Computer doing very well, up 9%. So Internet Computer is one of my top holds as well too. I think Internet Computer is going to be one of the biggest dark horses in here, alongside XRP. I just think XRP will be a late stage performer at the tail end of 2025. By November, then it'll start to go absolutely crazy, just like it did during the the bull run in 2017. But it'll be interesting to see over the next few months, because according to CryptoCon, the magic bands continue to hold the spot of the most accurate Bitcoin price bands that exist. And so leading into Bitcoin's halving, the mid top, as expected, when these were created, was made almost perfectly at the blue level at $49,200. It was made right around there. Now we look for what's next, and it looks like the yellow line he believes is next at $32,600. Every mid top has reached a primary band, and once that is done, they correct to the next lower one. 2019 is the only example that moved far below this, mostly due to the early parabolic price action, of 2019 DeFi summer. It just shot up, and we didn't backtest the previous range because we didn't consolidate for too long. And so COVID took place, that black swan event that brought it back down drastically. And some data calls for lower prices than this, around 28K, but something around the likes of 32K is much more reasonable. Anything below 30K, 28K would be some type of black swan event. And according to Zero IKA, he personally believes 2024 will be a lively year for Bitcoin. The current correction can lead us to 36 to 32K, with the last level at that, if reached, will be defended tightly by the bulls. This is logical given the watershed that this level has represented, with Bitcoin that remained below it for 525 days before the breakout. Basically, the ground that could be used for higher prices. But the roller coaster, in his opinion, has barely started. We have, in fact, 3 major events this year. Number 1 is the halving, estimated mid-April. Number 2 is the U.S. tax deadline. That's Monday, the 15th of April. U.S. presidential elections. That's Tuesday, the 5th of November. We also have potential Ethereum ETFs coming up. So as you guys know, people bought the rumors of the Bitcoin ETF. So what are people going to do for Ethereum? They're going to buy the rumor of the Ethereum ETF. So I do expect Ethereum to outperform Bitcoin as well. And these events will bring a lot of volatility to the table, with Bitcoin floating in between the 30 and the 48K range. It might pump before the halving and the tax deadline, or a dump, sell in May and go away. So it might dump off, rise again in May, then people start to sell off, and then pump before U.S. elections, speculation on potential policy changes. So bullish for this year towards quarter 4 for the whole crypto market in the alt season. 2025 instead could be a brutal year with much complacency and a return to the mean. As always, everything will be clearly proceeding level by level, but this is an idea that is fermenting in his head. So, this would be a double bottom trend reversal for 2024. Very well possible. I think this thesis and these hypothesis is pretty similar with what's going on in my mind. The U.S. filed notice to sell $130 million worth of Bitcoin seized from Silk Road. And so, we'll see if they dump it all at once. Let's say they try and do it through a spot sale on Binance or Coinbase. I don't think those exchanges would allow it. So we'll see what happens here. But if we can look at Bitcoin to the US dollar price chart based on the 4-year market cycle and just see what's happened every single time, and then if we can compare that to XRP, it could give us a good gauge of the most likely case scenario. And I've covered this in previous videos, and I know sometimes it gets repetitive for me to repeat myself. So I like to show different charts, different viewpoints on everything. And so if multiple viewpoints in the mass consensus is aligning for the same thesis, then you can narrow down your strategy to become profitable. So what do we need to look at? Well, this is the Bitcoin halving rainbow price chart that shows the days until the next halving, this indicator on Bitcoin's live price chart. So you can see days until the next halving. We're roughly 80 days away until the next halving. And so if we go back to the past and we see where we were at 80 days before the previous halving, that was in this rally from December 2019 all the way upwards of February 2020. It faked everyone out, and then COVID hit, and then Bitcoin dropped 60% before the halving. Actually, it dropped even, I think, further than that. Let's see. Yeah, it was like 64% in like 3 weeks. So if you had a $100,000 portfolio, you lost $64,000 in value in that portfolio in just 3 weeks. And if you sold down here, you'd be crying out loud, man. You'd be freaking out, because then we blasted out of here with Donald Trump signing the CARES Act into law to print more money. And so if the government's going to continue to print more money, even with a crash, let's say we were to see a scenario like that take place, well, let's go ahead and trace it out, and let's see what that would look like for the price chart. If we did something like this and we came all the way back down to like $17,000, well, what would happen in 2025? We'd be up past the all-time high. So best thing to do for a scenario like this would be just to hold, because there's nothing you can do. I mean, you're bleeding out. If you have money on the sidelines, you hold and then you just buy more. You just buy more as we go down. That's the smartest thing to do, right? I'm not telling you what to do. That's just what smart investors did down here. Why do you think the price went up? Because smart people bought. And then when did they sell? They sold up here. So when do we sell? Well, and when do we buy? You want to buy in light yellow right here and light orange. And also, if we see one final dip, it's right before red. Then you want to buy again, right? Based on this chart. Now let's see if the cycle before then shows the same thing. Yep, shows the exact same thing. Light yellow was the exact bottom. Light orange was the next dip for the double bottom. And then we broke out from this range right here. We break out, we back test it, consolidate, and then we had another dip right here. It was darker orange before red. And before Bitcoin's halving, for this cycle, we actually rallied right before the halving, and then we dumped off going into the halving. So we saw a sell-off. So if we were to trace that up to where we are right now, it would look like this. So the best scenario is to hold and buy more. So it's the same scenario, right? Hold, buy more. Now, if you're more leaning on the lines of a black swan event, which is an unlikely case scenario, then yeah, you could sell and then try and get a better entry. But if that doesn't happen and we do something like this where we rally up before the halving and we just see a much lighter correction, or let's say we see the 30% correction that everyone's looking for, but we see it all the way up here, like we go from 65, we do a 40% correction, that brings us back down to $41,000. So arguably, if we do the 2016 move, it would look like this. Bitcoin might only come down to $35,000. We might not see Bitcoin come down to $30,000 this cycle. Instead, when we would see Bitcoin at $30,000 might be never, or it might be the bear market of 2027. And so arguably, a lot of people, this is the problem that I saw in the crypto space. A lot of people were not buying down here back in December of 2022 and January of 2023 because they thought Bitcoin was going to go to 12K. They're like, wait to get into Bitcoin at 12K. Some people were even saying, watch, if Bitcoin went down, let's say it went down to 12K and it did this, a lot of people wouldn't even buy down here because they would be screaming, wait for Bitcoin to go down to 8K. Bitcoin's going down to 8K to enter into Bitcoin. You're going to get a better deal. And so it's the fallacy that you think the price is going to keep going down to get a better deal. It's the same fallacy that happens during the bull market where people think like, okay, we're up here, we're going to keep going higher, don't take any profits. And then we get to the complacency stage right here. They're like, don't take any profits. Then we get right here and they're still holding. They don't take any profits. And then we get into, panic, capitulation, anger, and depression. And then they sell down here. That's the reason why the wealthy get wealthier and the poor get poorer, is because the wealthy, they don't wait for the best possible time to buy. They dollar cost average in the whole entire time, right? They buy right here, they buy right here, they buy right here, they even buy right here. They're buying right now. They'll buy right up here. They'll buy right up here. They'll buy right up here. They just keep buying. What has Michael Saylor been doing? He just keeps buying. Now, I understand it's very difficult to just keep buying if you don't have any money on the sidelines. And if you're looking at XRP, XRP is pissing people off because it's been underperforming compared to the rest of the markets. I mean, we've been talking about XRP since 2020. Yeah, since October of 2020. So all the way back here at like 22 cents. So I'm sorry, guys. I do want to apologize because if you bought XRP when we started talking about it back here and you're still holding, you're only up 137%. So I apologize. If you put in 100 grand and you've just been holding this whole time, you haven't sold anything, you're only at $237,000. So from the top of my heart, right? I don't want to say from the bottom of my heart, from the top of my heart, because we're all going to the top together. I do want to apologize for helping you make money. And I want to apologize in advance for helping you make even more money if you continue to hold XRP through 2030, because we're going camping on the beaches of the moon. So when we look right here, at the halving for Bitcoin, well, let's go ahead and trace about 80 days before the halving of what happened during the previous cycle. So it would look something like this. Oh, much more pain in store for XRP holders. I mean, if we do a black swan event and XRP comes down to 28 cents, which was the low of 2022, this is going to be the last chance to hop on board the train before we go the beaches, the moon, because you best believe, guys, if they plan on tokenizing real world assets, and it's going to be $16 trillion tokenized across the globe, arguably more by 2030, and XRP Ledger primes itself to be one of the main blockchain, Ripple primes itself to be one of the main blockchain companies through the XRP Ledger to facilitate that, and all of these partnerships have been positioning themselves for a reason, then I do not see why XRP shouldn't be valued at higher than its all-time high, bare minimum. And if we draw the Fibonacci retracement, well, first before we do that, let's look at this Bitcoin halving rainbow on XRP's price chart. There's not enough data back here in 2015, but if we look at this past cycle, like when the best time to sell was, well, it was right around here, about light green, like right before turning yellow, right around here. Same thing for 2021. It was like green, middle of green, and then light yellow is on the way down. And then when we hit bright yellow before orange, that was the bottom. Well, when we hit bright yellow before orange, it wasn't the bottom back here during the last cycle, but we were about 28 cents. And then when we turned red, we were continuing the downtrend. And then we saw a final capitulation event. But arguably, the best time to confirm an entry is when we turn blue, when we have, for Bitcoin, 1,400 days, because then any potential black swan events before then could already take place. And so leading into the halving, if you're planning on buying any XRP, I'm not going to tell you when or what amount or when to sell, but based on the chart here of the past, the best time in the past was right after the halving, a few months after the halving. So if we were to measure here, about 54 days after the halving, it was down another 13%. Then we took off from there, and the best time to sell was green, right? So we were about 800-ish days, 900 days, somewhere around there. We were up 10x. And so if we perform another 10x, well, let's say we go down to, I don't think we're going to go down this deep. I mean, if we go down to 28 cents, guys, that'll be a black swan event. I'll be buying more. I don't think we're going to go that deep. I think we might go down to 44 cents, maybe down here. And if we pull a 10x for XRP, that'd be upwards of $5. So I think anywhere between $5 and $30 is possible for this bull run cycle. Now let's draw the Fibonacci retracement tool. And how this works, is we zoom out for the macro and we draw from the all-time high to the low of COVID, and that would bring a 4.236 extension all the way upwards of $13.87, give or take a little bit here and there. 3.618 is $11.80. 2.618 is $8.60. 1.618 is $5.29. So I think anywhere between a 1.618 and a 4.236. I think we might actually overextend the 4.236, and that's why I'm saying, like $15, $20, somewhere around here is possible for XRP. That's if we see trillions of dollars flow into this industry. And so we're going to be ready for it. We're going to be backing up our truck all the way to the bank, grabbing the bags, packing them and stacking them, leaving no bags left behind, because the spending power of the dollar is going to continue to go down in value. That's a fact. The Fed nuked the dollar. Inflation is going through the roof. And blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, and cryptocurrencies are going up in interest. That's a fact. And together, you know where we're going. We're going camping on the beaches of the moon. I'll see you guys on the next video. I'll see you on bullrunners.com, where you'll discover our top altcoin picks first before we make videos about them. You'll get early bird access to our financial education platform when that's released. And you don't need any previous crypto trading experience. Click the button on the page, put in your best email address. You'll be instantly subscribed to our video newsletter to get the best information to help you prepare for the worst that's yet to come in this economy. So I appreciate you guys. God bless you. As always, I'll see you on the next video. I'll see you on bullrunners.com. Stay bullish.